Committee, which has been held via Microsoft Teams and is also being live streamed. Today we are considering objections from the police and environmental health to a proposed 10 for the ground floor of 359 Portobello Road. I am Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi and I will be chairing this meeting. I confirm that I have no declarations to make. I am joined by Councillors Dory Smetterling and Linda Wade. Councillors, can you please introduce yourself and say whether you have any declaration?
Okay, well, I'm Dory Schmetterling, Councillor for Pembridge Ward, just on the edge of the Carnival footprint.
Councillor Linda Wade, Earls Court Ward. I have no declaration.
Oh, and I have no declaration either.
We are also joined by Paul Phelan from the Council's licensing team, our legal officer, Lindsay Lemazurier, our committee officers, Holly Weaver, Daniela Heel and Emily Beard. The quorum for this committee is 2, and as there is always the possibility that I may lose a connection temporarily during the broadcast, I am nominating Councillor Smetterling to be appointed as the substitute chair. Please, members, can you confirm whether this nomination is seconded? Councillor Wade?
Seconded.
Thank you very much. I confirm that Councillor Schmetterling has been appointed substitute chair. Thank you, colleagues. Before we start, there are a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you are invited to speak. Please make sure your mobile phones are on silent, and please do not use the Microsoft Teams chat, as this is not monitored. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back in if you lose connection. Holly, can you please run through the list of persons wishing to speak at this meeting?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. So present today, we have Will Rogerson, who's the premises user, and he's joined by Lydia McNeil, one of his colleagues. They'll be presenting the 10. And then the responsible authorities, we have Matt McIlroy from RBKC's Noise and Nuisance team, PC Janelle Caldanez from the Metropolitan Police, and then Harain Henry, who will be the police's counsel today. And that's everyone we're expecting.
Thank you, Holly. The procedure of the meeting has been circulated with the papers. However, in summary, I confirm. Firstly, the licensing officer, Mr. Phelan, will give a brief outline of the 10. Mr. Phelan, are you here?
Good morning, Chair. I'm present.
Then I will ask the premises user, Mr. Will Rogerson, to present his submission. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. He is joined by his colleague, Miss Lydia McNeil. Please, can you all confirm your attendance? I can see you're here. Yeah. Okay. Questions may then be asked of the premises user by the committee, the police, the environmental health, and our legal officer. I will then ask the police's legal advisor, Mr. Harain Henry, to present his objections. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. He is joined by PC Janelle Caldanez, who may be able to assist the committee in answering questions. Can you confirm your attendance? I can see that you're both here. Okay. Questions may then be asked of the police by the committee, the premises user, and our legal officer. Then I will ask environmental health, Mr. Matt McIlroy, to present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Questions may then be asked of the environmental health by the committee, premises users, and our legal officer. Finally, I will turn to governance to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up, and the committee will then adjourn for about 10 minutes to make our decision. We will then reconvene to verbally announce the decision today, and it will then be confirmed in writing within 5 working days. The full reasoned decision will be issued as soon as possible thereafter. I would like to remind you that the committee has already read the papers, so there is no need to repeat their content, but please do draw attention to certain points and pages. Let's get going. Mr. Phelan, can you outline the 10 for us? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Mr. William Rogerson has submitted a temporary event notice which seeks to permit sales of alcohol off the premises from inside the property at 359 Portobello Road on Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of August 2025. The hours proposed are midday till 1900 each day. A copy of the temporary event notice and supporting documentation can be found at Appendix A of today's report. This notification has attracted an objection from PC Janelle Caldenes of the Metropolitan Police on the grounds of the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. A summary of her representation is provided on pages 5 to 6 of the report, with the full objection attached at Appendix B. Additionally, Philip Richardson, a Principal Environmental Health Officer for Noise and Nuisance, has objected on the grounds of public safety and the prevention of public nuisance. A summary of his representation is included on page 7 of the report, with the full objection attached at Appendix C. Finally, Chair, I can confirm that there have been no additional documents submitted in relation to this application, and that effectively concludes the summary of this notification. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So, Councillor Schmetterling, did you have a question here?
Not for licensing at this point, thank you. Not
So
for,
can
yeah,
I ask Mr. Phelan, do you know if this premises had a license last year in the carnival? Attends.
Sorry,
Mr. Phelan?
apologies. I was on mute. Apologies, Chair. There's no record for a temporary event notice for the year 2024 on the council record.
Okay, thank you very much. So now for the premises users case. Mr. Rogerson, please can you present your submission and advise if there have been any additional documentation sent to the council? You have up to 10 minutes. Thank you.
I did send sort of more beefed up risk assessment and event plan. I thought everyone would have received that. I think I sent it back to Mr. Lacoub licensing. But essentially, I'm not sure I've got 10 minutes worth of things to say, but we've done this event the last 2 years. We didn't do it at the same property, same premises as we're proposing to do this year. It was just next door. I can't remember exactly which number Portobello Road it was. It was next to the sound system. We essentially just plan to do the same again. We'll have security in place. Thank you. We have a licensed security guard. There'll be 3 or 4 of us. I think last year we had 5. So we had a toilet. We were selling access to the toilet last year as well. So we had a toilet attendant. So we're not doing that this year. So there'll be 3 or 4 of us working, plus a security guard. We propose to only let 4 people into the shop at any one time. The security guard will be manning crowds at the entrance, keeping things. We understand that it gets really, really busy out there. So we actively take measures to not exacerbate it, keep it under control. Yeah, and for the last couple of years, we're really successful and really safe. There was no issues. We had good relations with the police. They came around, checked the license. We would go out and talk to them, see how things are going. At no point in the last 2 times that we've done it was there ever any alarm, any need for any of us to be concerned. It always felt very safe. We're selling the drinks in the shop. We'll clear all the Lydia and Natalie run a vintage clothing shop, so that's what we're doing. But we clear all the stock out. There's no reason for anyone to, they'll stuff and steal or anything like that. But we block off the shop, so make it quite small, so not many people can fit in. All the stock is behind us. We're selling cans of beer, frozen margaritas from a smoothie machine, a slushy machine, various different cans of drink. And yeah, and we'll do it most of the day, start packing up around 6, be out of there by 7. Yeah, the previous few times have been very safe and secure and enjoyable. We'd be ashamed not to do it again. And the last one was, it wasn't, I think Lydia can confirm it, I think it was exactly next door, and we were opposite a sound system, and the crowds weren't an issue. We had police posted outside, very close. So yeah, if anyone has any more questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. So I will start by asking a question, Mr. Rogerson, just for clarity. Paul Phelan has told us there was no 10s at that premises last year. You're saying you had an event at another premises on Portobello Road last year in Carnival.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry?
We did. We did have a license. It wasn't the same premises. I believe it was next door. Give me 2 seconds. I can try and find the old license.
Okay. And my second question before I turn to the committee, Mr. Rogerson, is that I have a note here saying that you will not be present on the day, even though when I submitted the license, I wasn't able to attend. My partners Lydia and Natalie were gonna handle it, but things have changed now, and I'm planning to be there now. So you will be present on the both days of Carnival. Yeah, so I moved out of London about 6 months ago, so I just didn't think it would work, but I do want to be there, so I'm going to make it. Okay, thank you, Councillor Schmetterling.
Yes.
Any questions, and then I'll go to Councillor Wade.
Thank you. Yes. First of all, I did see that you submitted a risk assessment, but I have to say it's not as well presented as it could be, because some of the last column, which is where you have sort of free text to say what you plan to do, you can't read it all. Maybe it was in the way we've got the document. So suggestion is in future, improve it so we can actually read it.
Can't read it. In what sense can't you read it?
Well, it's not a table. It's just it looks like it might have been a table, but it's all broken up, and I can't see, for example, antisocial behaviour disorder. It says staff drain, contact police, SEC. The sentence isn't complete. Maybe it's the way the documents were changed between your submitting them and us getting them, but you can't see it all. Anyway, that's one thing. The other question is on page 14 of this is all on page 14 of the pack, PDF page. You talk about queue management, staff control entry, possible floor markers. What does that mean?
Just markings on the floor to prompt people to stand or move.
But where?
Keeping distance. Outside or inside the shop and outside the shop.
So you're going to paint the pavement?
No, we could put vinyl stickers down. Like in COVID, they were distancing things and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Inside and outside. Okay. By the way, you can now see on that page on the screen what I was talking about.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure how that happened. I apologize for that.
And now, what about this? This is a question you kind of alluded to it. People coming inside, or not? You said also people outside. So
no. So people will be buying drinks inside the shop, not outside the shop. But they'll imagine, to get inside the shop, you have to be outside the shop. So there might be some. I'm addressing the fact that there might be crowds outside the shop.
Okay. So it's effectively on sales, not off sales. But of course, people can take things out.
Yeah. It's not.
So
it's not going to be a bar for people to stand in and drink in. It's people come in, buy a drink, and leave.
So will be. You expect queuing outside?
We don't want queuing outside. We had the same setup last year in the same place, and we didn't ever really experience much queuing outside. I mean, occasionally you have if there's a group of 10 people who were together, they would come and stand while they took turns buying drinks. But we never had a problem of large amounts of people massing outside.
So
waiting
not
for drinks.
much. Right. Finally, at this point, where will the bar be relative to the door?
Lydia might be able
Page
to answer that better than me. I haven't seen the property in a little while, but I think towards
Page 18.
what we did was we made the shop a lot smaller by moving tables to sort of enclose the door. So the shop would only be like 3 or 4 meters squared in area. The bar will be near the front with all our stock and all our stuff behind the bar.
Provide a
Bar
drawing,
is the table.
but it's like 2 empty rooms. It doesn't say what's where.
It's one big whole room, and at the front, the largest space at the front is where you will have the bar, just going straight across. So there'll be enough space for 4 people to come in and get drinks and leave through the door.
I'm really puzzled because there's no door shown. I don't know where Portobello Road is.
So the largest square,
Yes.
to the right, the door would be here. So the small square is just the
Where?
back of the
Sorry?
shop where the bathroom is. So the small square is the back of the shop. The larger square is the
Mhm.
front of the shop.
Okay.
So where there's the rectangular measurement that says 3971 meters, that's the front of the shop.
Right. And the door is that little thing.
To the right.
Okay. That indentation.
Here. No, not the indentation. It's a proper door with a window to the left.
Okay.
No, I understand, but that's the place where the door is. It's not on Portobello Road, but it must be on Portobello Road. It is on Portobello Road.
The door is on Portobello Road. It's 359 Portobello Road. The door is to the right of that square box where you get the measurements.
Mhm.
And they would be able to enter the door. We would have a bar going straight across. So there's no way of entering the back. We will not be using the space. And they will receive drinks and leave through the bar with the doorman.
So basically, people come in, don't go in far, buy a drink and leave.
Yeah.
So there will be a queue outside. There's nowhere inside to stand around.
No, we
They
will
won't-
have
they-
enough space for people to be able to be inside.
Okay.
Okay.
And clarify, if the queue
The
does,
bar
if
isn't
it
going
does,
to be near the front door. There's going to be a good amount of space for them to come in through the door with the doorman.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
I will move on to Councillor Wade now. Holly, can you put up a picture of the photo of the shop so we can actually understand what we're talking about? Councillor Wade, do you have any questions?
Yes. I'm interested if you could just expand on where you've done events before and how they where were they in proximity to your present site. Could you just detail that? You said you'd done it for a couple of years.
so last year we did it at 361 Portobello Road.
Which is next door, which is the corner shop on Faraday and Portobello Road.
All right,
And
so,
then previous-
so we're looking
Yeah.
at the white shop, are we?
So the shop that we're in now is the blue shop. And the previous shop that we used, which you can see the door is on the corner and we built the bar inside, is the cream looking one. So
All right.
361 is the corner of Faraday and Portobello, and then this navy, the blue shop is the current shop that we're in now. So you see that the door is to the left.
All right, so and you did that for a couple of years, did you?
So we had 361 on Portobello Road last year, and then we had 40 Goulburn Road last year, the previous year.
So that was a tends to sell alcohol, was it?
On both premises, yeah.
All right, so
It's pretty much exactly the same as what we're proposing now. The only difference
Yeah.
is last year we were also selling access to the toilet.
all right, so I mean, there are a couple of things. You say it's an application for internal sales. And you say 12 people are going to be in there at any one time. How is that going to be controlled?
We will
We
control
have
it. We also have a doorman restricting access.
So if we get on to security, you say you're going to have security. Is that going to be inside the shop or external to the shop?
Wherever he's needed, inside and outside. If there are crowds massing outside, he'll be outside moving them on.
And that's
if they're associated, yeah.
That's an SIA security guy, is it?
Yeah, license.
Yeah, so an accredited security.
Right. And he's done Carnival before?
With us, yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm not-
previous people.
Sorry?
He has done Carnival before, but he has also worked with us, so we've actually worked with him before.
All right. So I had the same problem about the risk assessment. So that's, and you've said that you're going to be there. Can I possibly ask why you haven't liaised with the Carnival Committee?
I didn't realise
the
that was
organisers.
necessary. We hadn't done that in the past, and we didn't have any. I mean, the last couple of times the attends went through without issues, so I didn't realise that I needed to.
Right, I think everybody acknowledges their increased sensitivities about Carnival, and whether it's a number of different risks. So I think everybody's viewing Carnival far more seriously in the coordination, and so I would advise that next time you do liaise with them, in order that you can, with some of the problems about signs where sound systems are or pinch points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it would be advisable to do that in the future. Presumably, if there are people on the premises, they're covered by your public liability insurance, are they?
Yes, we've got full public liability insurance for the shop. We need it even for the vintage shop.
Yeah, but does that actually cover you for Carnival?
It covers us for everything.
All right, now there is reference, which of course I can't find, which says, at one point it says you will be serving alcohol in plastic cups, and then it suddenly says somewhere about glass bottles or strong alcohol.
We won't be
selling
anything in glass. We might have some spirits to make up cocktails will be in glass bottles, but only we'll have access to those. We'll be selling cocktails in plastic cups and beer in cans.
All right, but presumably, all right. So if you think of projectiles, how can you? So you'll only be serving in glasses. You won't be selling bottles. But will there be sufficient access, or will there be a sufficient place to keep your bottles so people won't get access to them?
Yeah, all the rubbish will be kept at the back of the shop until Carnival is over. We don't disperse any rubbish until the 2 days are finished. There's enough room in the shop to keep everything
all right
in the shop.
And the people that are going to be serving, do they have training?
They've all worked
In
on
bars, yeah.
bars before, yeah.
And myself.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Wade. Are there any other questions from the committee, Councillor Schmetterling, or we'll move on to our legal advisor?
Yeah, I've got no further questions at this point. Thank you.
So, Lindsay Le Mesurier, could you do you have any questions?
No questions. I just wanted clarification. Is the beefed up risk assessment the one that's included in the pack, or has something else been submitted that we're not aware of?
That is it. But I think there's been some. I think that is it. But there's been some formatting that has gone awry. I think transferring from Excel to the PDF.
Sorry. So there is something else that you've shared with the police that we haven't seen. Is that what you're saying?
No. That what you have
is in the pack. Okay, that's all I wanted to check. Thank you.
Any questions from the police? You're on mute.
Hi, Chair. Sorry, go ahead.
And then Mr.
No, please.
Henry.
Lydia, please go ahead. Sorry, I'm not sure who is talking, but please go ahead before I make any submissions.
No, I'm asking you now if you have a question for the applicant before you
I don't
make
have a
your
question.
submission.
I don't have a question before my submission. No, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. So do we have any questions from environmental health?
No questions at this time.
Okay, so we will move on. So Lorraine Henry, Mr. Lorraine Henry, could you please present your submissions now? You have 10 minutes.
Good morning, Chair, and thank you, everyone. Chair, the police objects to the application, as you mentioned before, on the principal ground of prevention of crime and disorder and public safety. Chair, the first thing to note about the application is that Mr. Rogerson, who, by the way, has a valid personal license, will not be present on the day. That's what he said in the application. Today we're being told. Today we're being told something else, but at least the panel is familiar, I'm sure, that under the council own policy, specifically paragraph 25.4 and 5, the parties who are seeking permissions or attend permission have to demonstrate their application how they propose to uphold the licensing objectives and how they will make sure that whatever they're proposing doesn't have a sort of adverse effect on existing demands on the day, amongst a host of other things. Similarly, in the guidance, the applicable guidance, 182 guidance, Chair, section 8.42 and 8.43 requires the applicants to set out positive proposals and how they will deal with risks. Now, looking at the application in itself, the first thing to note that the charity shop isn't hasn't got a history of dealing with trading alcohol or selling, conducting licensable activities. I heard the submission from the applicant that they've done it before, but what we are asked to consider is an application specifically for this shop. Now, I want to bring up my version of the shop just to show you something. One of the points that the police raise is around public safety, and that concerns what's happening on the pavement here, where the public will be traversing on the day of the carnival. The applicant says in their application that they're expecting to have 12 people at any one time. We've heard today that they said that that's likely to be four people at any one time. But assuming that there are 12 people there at any one time, there's likely to be a congestion outside here on the pavement on the day, depending on what way the floats are going on that day. What we will end up with is effectively a human bottleneck situation, which in itself creates a public safety risk. The application submitted again by the applicant doesn't actually address how they will mitigate those kind of risks. And in addition to that, Chair, even if you were to consider giving any kind of approving the application and allowing it with any kind of conditions, again, the council's own policy at 25.12 sets out that actually the premises license, the person who has the license, being Mr. Rogers, alcohol should only be sold when the personal license holder is on the premises. Now, I can't say for definite whether he will be there or he will not be there, but taking the application as it is presented to you, his argument on the application, which is all we have to go by, is he won't be there because of a previous diary clash. And even if you were to consider approving the application with any conditions, you certainly wouldn't be able to allow him to conduct a licensable activity on the premises without him being there, because that's not allowed by the council. Similarly, what they're seeking is effectively something akin to what I may regard as a sort of street trade, to asking you for permission to conduct street trading activity, which includes the sale of alcohol. They said that they will be doing this in the store. We've listened very carefully, and as you would know, under the council's own policy, what they have to set out to you. This is not a panel where we turn up and then we have to identify from a floor plan of a building where alcohol will be sold and how that will be managed. Of course, one of the things you have to consider is the risk of harm to children. Everybody knows that Carnival attracts young people. The risk assessment application doesn't even address that. We've been told that there will be security and there's a history of working with this security. Again, there's no evidence of their accreditation or even evidence that they will actually be there. We've just been led to believe that is going to be going to be the case. Similarly, the point about the insurance, they've said the insurance covers everything. It is unusual for a charity shop insurance to cover licensable activities such as the sale of alcohol. But in any case, even if you may say it's not unusual, then again, we would have to be satisfied that the application, that the license certificate actually does cover that, and you can't be satisfied that it does indeed cover such activity as they put it. So, hearing those points, Chair, in addition to the fact that, as I mentioned before, there is no positive proposals in the application setting out how they will uphold the licensing objectives, and the fact that the council's own representative also opposed the application. Again, if you look at Appendix C in the brief, they've set out very clearly that they've opposed this simply on the other two grounds, which is the prevention of nuisance and the risk of harm to children or protecting children. They talk about the congestion and the risk of a bottleneck. They talk about the issues at the doorway that's likely to arise. And of course, if that were to happen, then if there was a crowd surge and somebody panic or there's going to be alcohol in use, of course, violence and antisocial behavior are going to be the natural results of that. The other point I will make is on the risk assessment itself. If you go to page 14 and you look at hazards and risks, working across that where it says antisocial behavior, I think the risk metrics, I think it sort of reads across from left to right. And if you consider what's set out in the risk metrics, it says staff, public, then you look at the top and it rates it in terms of severity of the risk. Antisocial behavior and disorder, high. Then it says risk level high, controlled measures, I think, risk level high, severity and the likelihood, all high. So taking those factors into account and the fact that this premises has no history of previously trading alcohol or conducting these kind of activities, we're simply asking you to reject the application and consider also the fact that this is effectively a vintage fashion store, and the proposal is to install a bar in it without any kind of adequate evidence of how that will work on the day. And the lack of any adequate evidence, we say, at least from a safety point of view, makes the application in itself insufficient. And if the applicant knew they weren't going to be there and then later changed that they were going to be there, this is exactly what the council policy requiring parties to engage with them is there for. They should have at least communicated to the police or the council and effectively try and work together to assist them in being allowed to engage in such licensable activities. They haven't done that in any way, and you can't be satisfied purely on speculation that security will be there, or what the ratio of bar staff to crowd or visitors will be on the day. Speaking from the application itself, if we take it as a fact that Mr. Rogerson won't be there, that leaves us with two members of staff and a likely population of about 12 people each time. So 12 people, it's high in alcohol on that day, again, presents a high risk to not only the 2 members of staff, but also the general public in terms of antisocial behavior, nuisance, and also the risk of harm to children. So, Chair, I ask you, hearing all of that, to reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have one question for the police, and Mr. Henry, perhaps PC Caldenes can help you on this. I'm not quite sure how much interaction. I have a note saying that the applicant didn't consult the police first. How much of a conversation have there been between the applicant and the police prior to this hearing?
Chair, the officer perhaps could answer that question.
Yeah, there was no interaction from the receiving the temporary event notice.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Schmetterling.
Thank you. Yes. Mr. Henry, first of all, just to be geeky about it, this is not an application. We're looking at a notice that's already been given. Mr. Rogerson clearly stated he would be present. So I'm wondering why you have emphasized the fact he won't be there when he clearly said he would be. I appreciate the documents at that point when he wrote it, he said he won't be, but he now has confirmed he will be. So first question is, why do you insist that he's not going to be there? May I, well, okay, let me just ask that question first. Okay.
Well, Chair, effectively, if his application is his evidence before you, and we have to go by that evidence. I take the fact that he's turned up today to say that he will be there, but speaking strictly as a matter of facts before you, in the application, he said he will not be there. Now, if he is going to be there today, then at least at the very minimum to at least give assurance not only to yourselves but also to the council and the police that this is going to be conducted perhaps integrally. They would have at least communicated that. You've heard him said that he's moved out of London for I think 6 months before. So to change your mind on the day makes the application highly doubtful.
Can I explain?
No, not at this point. It's questions from the committee. You will get your chance later, Mr. Rogerson.
Okay.
Councillor Schmetterling, do you have another question?
Yes, I got 2 or 3 points, but I just want to one at a time.
Yes, but quickly, because we need to move on to Councillor Wade.
I wanted Mr. Henry to answer to allow him to answer the first one. The second point is, Mr. Henry, you said it depends on which way the floats are going. It doesn't. It's a fixed route. It's been like this for 30, 40 years. So there's no change in the route. So we know where the floats are going. I just thought I'd mention that. And the third question, really, it's which Mr. Henry asked, but maybe we'll have to ask the applicant, the notice giver. I'm making the same mistake now. The notice giver later, but I'll put it on the table now because Mr. Henry did mention it about insurance. I mean, you emphasized that it's a charity shop. I'm not sure actually what the relevance is because the notice giver said they'll clear it, and I don't think it's had anything to do with the shop. But it's still a good question as to whose insurance would cover the notified event, and it's more for the applicant, for the notice giver. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Councillor Wade, do you have any questions of the police?
Yes, I have a question of the active police presence on the day. What was your experience at that point of the route? Can you give me some indication as to how many people there would be on the street at the time? What would the street look like? What would the pavement look like?
I think.
Sorry. I thought the police might be able to answer that.
Councillor Wade, if I understand you correctly, I think you're asking what's the anticipated traffic on the route on the day. Sorry, on that street on the day.
What is the? I mean, we think of a route and it looks very neat and tidy on a plan, but actually, what is the actual experience and volume outside that those premises and on the pavement?
So I'll comment on I'll comment to that answer, and I'll invite the police to add to that. But what I'd say is it's I don't know if you've seen the news articles that have been provided, but essentially there is a route, as Councillor Mr. Dory has mentioned, that's been there for 35 years, which we're all familiar with. But not everybody traverse on that route. They're overspilled and they go into effectively what this road is. And so what the police is saying is what will happen is, because there's a music setup sound system right there will be a large crowd. I can't give you a specific number of what it is. And so I'll invite the officer to comment on what that number will be, because the sound system will attract a large crowd effectively.
Sorry,
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Sorry, so every sound system that obviously is there for Notting Hill Carnival will always attract a large crowd of people, and bearing in mind that the premises user is on the route as well, that will make it even more congested in that area if they're selling alcohol. In terms of, I know that Mr. Rogerson said that there was police presence when he had his, I think it might have been in 24, 23, there was police outside. Unfortunately, as you can appreciate, with resources and stuff like that, it's not possible to do that. We do not have those resources to have police at every single spot. As you can imagine, we get called to different things that are happening throughout the day. So it may have been the case back then where we would have had police maybe on every single junction where it would be really busy, but that's just not the possibility now.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Councillor Wade?
No.
So I will turn to our legal officer. Lindsay, do you have any questions of the police?
I haven't got any questions, but I just want to clarify.
Before we leave the police completely, could I just make a point? It's not on the route. This is Portobello Road. The carnival's on Ladbroke Grove on that side. So I don't know why the police officer mentioned it's on the route. And also, I think Mr. Henry meant the crowd doesn't follow the route always, but nothing spills over into side streets like that.
Councillor Schmetterling, it's questions to the police, not statements.
Yeah. So my question is, why does a police officer mention it's on the route?
Councillor, the answer earlier was that there's a sound system. I'm not sure who's controlling the pictures, but if they could put it up again just to show where the charity shop is, right at that corner it will be a sound system there. And when that sound system starts playing, there's going to be a very, very large crowd. And what the police are saying is that the current application says it will accept 12 people at any one time inside, and the police are saying, well, actually, there's likely to be a risk to public safety because it will create a human bottleneck situation, and that's almost inevitable. If a sound system gathers, there's probably likely to be, let's say, 1,000 people or more. Nobody knows exact numbers, but the police duty, as far as public safety is concerned, is to mitigate the risk of harm to the general public, but also, as I mentioned before, to children, and the fact that there's no security. We're not saying that the shop is situated on the route all around the carnival. What we're saying is it's one of the streets right on the route. So it's not sitting on the route, but it's next door. So see it as a tree with branches. It's one of the branches on the tree. And that's exactly what we're trying to prevent, Councillor. Thank you.
Moving on, thank you. Lindsay.
Thank you, Chair. So I think the police have confirmed that that it's not on the route, but it's close to the route. I just wanted to make 3 points. Firstly, it's not on sales. The applicant has applied for off sales, which means that customers come inside the shop, buy and consume elsewhere. I wanted to clarify that there isn't an existing premises licence, which means if the councils are minded not to issue a counter notice, there can't be conditions added because there is no existing premises licence. And just one further clarification, Environmental Health have objected on prevention of public nuisance and public safety, not prevention of harm to children. That's what their objection refers to. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll move on to Mr. Rogerson. If you have any questions, not of the police.
No, I mean, no questions, but just to try and reassure that we were there last year in essentially the same location, and that sound system was there. It was busy, but when the sound system started, we didn't see some increase in massive mobs of people outside our shop.
Okay.
Everything was calm.
So going back to Mr. Henry, I saw you had your hand up in answer to the legal officer's points. So you maybe wanted to say something.
I do, Chair. Thank you. In regards to license, I was just raising the point that the application on page 9 says that they had a valid personal license. So not a. I think we're both agreeable that the charity shop doesn't have a premises license. I think the point I was raising was that they hold, Mr. Rogerson hold a personal license.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we'll turn to Matt McIlroy, who is going to set out environmental health subjections. Mr. McIlroy.
Thank you. So in terms of our concerns, very much kind of echoes the police really. The issue of crowd safety, the bottleneck that it could cause by permitting this temporary event notice. Just sort of looking through the application, and obviously we are limited to looking at the application as it's stated and as it's presented. And I think there are issues in there when it comes to the event management plan. Today we're hearing that there could be 12 people in the shop at any one time. The event management plan states 4, which does suggest that there is going to be queuing outside the premises, which in such close proximity to the sound system on Faraday Road could cause crowd safety issues. It also doesn't really give any detail as to how these things will be managed. So if there are people, there's going to be a phone charging and a bag drop as well, and there's just no real information as to how all of this will be managed. There will inevitably be people queuing outside. There's not really any detail on the security of that and how those people outside the shop are managed, and so it's just a bit contradictory and just lacking detail for us to really be able to make a reasonable assessment that the key licensing objectives will be upheld. So without sort of going into repeating what the police have said, I think the location of it and the detail doesn't really give us the confidence that it will promote the key licensing objectives.
Thank you. I have no questions for Mr. McIlroy. Councillor Schmetterling, do you have a question?
Sorry, at this stage, no, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Wade.
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think we will move on to our legal officer, Lindsay Le Mesurier. Do you have any questions?
No questions of Mr. McIlroy. Thank you very much.
Okay, and then our premises user, Mr. Rogerson. Do you have any questions of environmental health?
I have no questions, but I could respond.
Thank you. So we have reached the end of this meeting.
Sorry, Chair. Could we, as I mentioned when I spoke to police, police couldn't answer it, or Mr. Henry couldn't answer the question about the insurance. Could we ask the notice?
I will refer to Lindsay. I'm not sure that's something that we are considering today, or we have the expertise or the information in front of us to actually consider. But I will go to our legal representative.
Thank you, Chair. I think the fact of the matter is the premises user has indicated that they have got adequate public liability insurance, and we're not in a position to ask them to supply that at this hearing. We have to take their word for it that they have got public liability insurance, and obviously if something goes wrong, then obviously they're going to have to rely on that such insurance. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying. So the committee now has all the information that it needs, and we will retire into private session to make our decision. We will reconvene this hearing in about 10 minutes time, so just after 10:30. And then the summary determination will also be sent to the parties within 5 working days. The full reasoned decision will also follow as soon as possible thereafter. Thank you all for attending. We'll retire now and come back in approximately 10 minutes. Thank you. Holly, are we all convened? Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I believe the only person who's not rejoined us is Mr. Henry with the police, but Janelle Cavanaugh is still on the line.
Okay.
It may be that she's able to
Fine.
accept the decision.
So this is the temporary event notice. We're formally reconvening the meeting, and I'm going to read the decision now. So this is the temporary event notice for the ground floor of 359 Portobello Road, London SW10. The committee has considered objections from the police and environmental health to a temporary event notice which has been given by Mr. William Rogerson for the sale by retail of alcohol off the premises at the above premises on Sunday the 24th of August and Monday the 25th of August between the hours of 12 noon and 7 p.m. for the maximum number of 12 people at any one time. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching its decision, the committee has had regard to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy. In summary, the committee has decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety licensing objectives, to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This notice means permission for the licensable activities requested in the TENS has not been approved. The committee has decided that allowing the 10 would, in this instance, undermine the prevention of crime and disorder and public safety licensing objectives, and it determined to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003. A copy of the reasoned decision will be provided without delay. If the premises user would like to appeal against this decision, such an appeal must be made to the Magistrates' Court within 21 days from the date of the notification of the full decision, but in any event, no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. Thank you all for attending. That ends the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.